Today we celebrate the great St. Thomas Aquinas. He is a 13th century theologian who showed that the Catholic faith is in harmony with philosophy and all other branches of knowledge. Blessed John Paul II, St. John Paul II, in 1998 said, St. Thomas had the great merit of giving pride of place to the harmony which exists between faith and reason. He was born in 1225. Near Naples, his father was the Count of Aquinas, and his mother was a countess as well. And at the age of 5, he was sent to Monte Cassino, the abbey, to study. His intellectual gifts impressed the monks and urged Daddy to put him in the university when he was 10 years old. So, in the University of Naples, he learned philosophy while taking care to preserve his morals against corruption by other students. It is said that a hermit before Thomas's birth told Theodora that she would have a son who would enter the Dominican order, and so great will be his learning and sanctity that in his day no one will be found to equal him. His family, however, did not envision their brilliant young man as a penniless friar, so his brothers kidnapped him from the Dominicans and took him to the family castle. They even brought in a woman to seduce him, who Thomas drove out by brandishing a poker from the fireplace. Under pressure from the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, Thomas's brothers allowed him to escape. He traveled to Rome, received the Pope's blessing, and eventually made his way to Paris to study with St. Albert the Great. They used to call him the dumb ox because he didn't talk too much. However, one of the great Alberts said, we call him the dumb ox, but he will give such a bellow in learning as will be heard all over the world. So by the time he was 23, he was already teaching in the University of Cologne. Around the middle of the century, he was ordained to the priesthood and showed great reverence for the liturgy. His best-known achievements are his works of theology, including the Summa Contra Gentiles, the Compendium Theologiae, and the Summa Theologica. In 1273, he proclaimed he could write no more, that mihi videtur sicut pallia. That, to me, it all seems like a bunch of straw. Can you imagine? Well, he never lived to finish his commentary. Nearing death, he made his final confession and asked the Eucharist be brought to him. In his presence, he declared, I adore you, my God and my Redeemer, for those honors I have studied, labored, preached, and taught. I hope I have never advanced any teaching as your word which I have not learned from you. His last words were addressed to one of the Cistercians who asked for a word of spiritual guidance. Be assured that he who shall always walk faithfully in God's presence, always ready to give him an account of all his actions, shall never be separated from him by consenting to sin. And so he died on March 7th, 1274, canonized in 1323, made a doctor of the Church in 1567. In 1965, the Second Vatican Council taught that seminarians should learn under the guidance of St. Thomas in order to illumine the mysteries of salvation as completely as possible. So there you have St. Thomas Aquinas, the dumb ox whose bellows are heard throughout the entire world because of his holiness and his genius. God bless him, and look at what he said. Be faithful, be holy, do everything for the Lord. That's where real intelligence comes from. Be faithful. Fidelity. High fidelity.